Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the RunCam Split 2. So here's just a quick look at the specs that it's boasting. It says it has a 165 degree field of view, takes 5 to 17 volts, and draws 650 milliamps, and it does 1080 60 FPS, which is what most people are interested in. So let's just take a look at what you get. So right away, you're greeted with the camera and board combo. Looks like this is probably the little Wi-Fi module thing. Yep, that's what that is. Just take this out. We get the little warranty card, and you get a manual. This looks pretty complicated. One side is English, one side's Chinese. Have to read through this, all the specs and wiring of it. And then in here, we just have some mounting brackets, it looks like, as well as general cabling. Ooh, it looks like they do give you a spare ribbon cable this time, which is super nice for the cable that connects them. However, it is interesting to note that this one is quite a bit longer. It's almost 2 to 3 times longer than the one they give you. So it's also nice in case you break this one, you can swap it. But if you have a quad, say you have a 6 or 7 inch quad that you want to put the board far back and the camera up front, you can put this in here, and then you have about 8 inches to put the camera wherever you want. So that's quite nice indeed. Just have some general cabling to connect stuff up. And then we have a bunch of little mounts and nylon screws there to mount the camera to. Looks like an adapter. This will probably fit, since I think this is the same size as the mini cameras. Yeah, it looks like probably maybe just 1 or 2 millimeters bigger than the mini cameras, but it's smaller than a full size. So this will adapt it to a full size, so you can mount it in your frames, or you can just screw this down on the plate. Then it also gives you a little metal piece here. It's just quite interesting. I'm not sure if this is supposed to protect it or to act as a heat sink, but pretty sure it does go over it in the manual here. Alright, and then let's take a little bit of closer look at the camera itself. So you just have the big wide-angle lens up front. Looks like it's the RC25G lens from RunCam. Uses the dual lock ring. That's quite nice. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. And it looks like to replace this cable, you would have to take the back off to undo that connector. And then here we have the board itself. So let's just take this sticker off, as well as one on the other side. However, I am going to keep this for now just because it's really easy to know the pinout here. So it looks like it takes 5 to 17 volts. You have your ground, and then you have your video and your audio out. And then I believe the ground RX and TX, I believe that is for remote control via your flight controller and the OSD. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that is something that they're doing. So if we take that off, we get a look at the micro SD card slot right here. It's on the same side as the Wi-Fi module, where that will plug in right here, as well as your micro USB. So it's all on one side, which is nice because you can put that out the side. You don't have to worry about one not being the correct way. Up here we just have the little connector for the ribbon cable, so it's easy to take that out. Then over here we have 2 buttons. I'm not sure what they're for. They're not labeled, but I'm sure it's in the manual. And just for the weight of the Split 2 altogether with the board and camera, it weighs 23.79 grams. And it looks like over here this is our microphone here, and it's interesting to see that we do have solder pads, not pins. That's actually, I think that's quite nice. It keeps it a little bit lower profile. Since it's already pretty big, you might have a little bit of trouble fitting this to some of your stacks. And then we have a whole bunch of other little electronics all over here, but I'm not that interested in what they are. As long as it works, that's all I need. So let me install this on a quad, and we'll test it out. Okay, I have the RunCam Split 2 installed in this floss here. You can just see the camera up front fits just fine. It's the same size as a mini. And then for the board, I just added another stack here. And I didn't use this sort of included little heatsink protection thing because I didn't have room for it. I just mounted the VTX straight on top of it, so we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully that doesn't overheat it. And for connecting it up, just use the pads right here. All I did was give it 5 volts. This does take 5 to 17 volts. However, I wouldn't be comfortable powering it off of the VBAT, even though for forest that is under 17 volts as long as you're not HV charging. But the extra voltage spikes I think would kill this board pretty quick. So I actually powered it off the 5 volts of the VTX, the Mach 2 here, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then obviously I just connected the video right into it since I don't have a OSD from the flight controller here. So let's see what kind of footage it gives us. Alright, so here we have the Fpv feed from the Split 2. So this is recorded in a 4:3 because of my DVR, but just note that it is a 16:9 image. It just got squished here. So these are the stock settings, and it may not look too good at first glance. It's kind of undersaturated and kind of blown out here, but it was, you know, there's snow all over the ground as it was also quite dark out. So in terms of flyability, this image actually isn't too bad, and I definitely did notice the extra resolution of the camera without a whole lot of other shimmering and artifacting. Alright, so now as we move into the HD, once again this is completely stock. I have not done any editing to it. You can see the colors, it's kind of blown out. It's really dark overall, so it's really compensating for that. But I'll just let you have a listen to the microphone real quick. So cover your ears, it's kind of bad. So yeah, don't be buying this for the microphone, but in terms of the smoothness of the video and the way it's handling the sharpness and everything, I think it actually looks really nice and smooth. It's just a little bit underexposed and undersaturated here, as well as since the camera's here you can see the props and framing view. But now in just a second I will add some post-editing right here. So this is what I think looks like a better image. So it definitely can get some quite nice video, and once again with the snow on the ground this is kind of an unfair situation for it, but that's all I had. But the camera itself actually is not too bad, and if you look at other videos testing it in sunlight with normal, you know, grass fields or something like that, it actually looks really nice for what it is. So I'm actually pretty impressed with this camera. Alright, so we're back after showing you that footage there, so let me just sum up my thoughts on this. So just right off, in terms of video quality, I was actually quite surprised with how nice the FPV footage is, because this obviously, it does give you the FPV link as well as it records HD on board. So the FPV, the resolution of the camera itself was very high quality, and I know I do apologize, it's obviously a little bit dark and snowing outside. There's not really much I can do about that, so it's not really that fair of a test if it was a nice sunny green day out compared to other cameras, but it did perform pretty well there. The field of view, it is a 16:9 camera, since you know it is CMOS there. It was actually pretty nice. However, the vertical field of view is just a little bit lacking, so in using this for racing, I'm not too sure about that if you want to get some serious angles there, because the vertical field of view is just a little bit too small in my opinion. And as well as it does, since it does record the HD on board, you do get a little bit of extra lag on there. And now when I was flying around, I didn't really notice it too much, but extra lag is extra lag, whether you notice it or not, it's going to impact you. But I don't really think that's a deal breaker. So one of the downsides of having a camera that also records HD right here is that wherever you have it mounted, everything's going to be in view. You can see the edges of the frame here as well as the props and motors in view. I kind of like that actually, seeing the props, but you know, depending on what you want. And the microphone for, where is it? It's over here. The microphone for the Split 2 is back here, this little silver guy right there. And it's pretty terrible audio. It's just way out in the open here. There's nothing covering it. So the audio is pretty much useless there. I would say if you did put some foam over that, you might be able to get usable audio. But just in general, it's just really screechy, which is pretty much anything other than GoPro, the audio is useless. I didn't have any problems running it from the 5 volts from the video transmitter, even though it says it pulls 650 milliamps on the box here. So that was good. And then for the video, obviously I just ran a Foxeer Pagoda Pro and a clear view for the ground station. The little Wi-Fi module that comes with it didn't give me any problems. You just plug it in and then you press the button to turn the Wi-Fi on, and it's documented in the little manual that they give you. Then you just connect to it on your phone and then you open up the app, change the settings. However, it comes default on 1080-60, which is what I wanted to use, so I didn't change any of the settings, but that's nice that you can. This does power up. It starts recording once you power up, so actually I thought that was a bad thing at first, but the more I used it, I flew with it for about 10 batteries to get footage for it. I actually started to like that more, just so when you plug in, you know it's going to be ready. You don't have to worry about that. How many times if you have a GoPro, have you forgotten to record it when you're going to fly? And then you just press the button quick to stop it. But if you were going to leave it powered on without wanting to get video, you can press it and stop it real quick. However, that's going to build up a lot of small files, but it's not really a big deal. The SD card slot is right over here, and this one just pops in and out. It doesn't have a latch or anything, so it's really easy and convenient. However, it's kind of not in there that well. I had a crash where, well, one crash, it wasn't really a crash. I clipped a branch, so it sort of shook the quad a little bit, and the video stopped recording. I could see on my screen it said no SD card. So it didn't pop all the way out, it just became disconnected. And then another crash, I hit a tree and hit the ground, and it fully ejected the card into the snow, so I lost my SD card. So yeah, that kind of sucks, especially if you're going to use this to get some race footage. If you hit a gate or anything, your card is going to be gone, never to be seen again. So you need to make sure you put some kind of tape or something to hold that over there, which is really annoying. I wish they would have went with a more secure setup for the card there. I'm pretty sure you can use the USB to update the firmware on here as well as download the files off the card. However, I didn't deal with that. I just took the card out and plugged it into my computer. So yeah, compared to the V1, which I never personally had, but from seeing other videos of it, they definitely did make some improvements in this guy, and I'm pretty happy with it. It definitely does give you some pretty decent footage. It's not up to the GoPro quality, but for what it is, with a little bit of editing to adjust the colors and whatnot, you can get some really decent footage off of this and only weigh just a few more grams over a standard camera because you have this extra board in there, but not the 70 grams that a GoPro costs. And it's also a lot cheaper than having GoPro too. So yeah, it's definitely pretty decent and an interesting product. I don't think it's going to be for high-end racers, mainly because, you know, they're not going to want that extra lag. They're going to want more vertical field of view, and housing a big board like this might be a problem. On this floss, I had to increase the standoff heights quite considerably to fit it in there. But other than that, you know, for a more casual flyer, or if you just want some HD runs without sacrificing and putting a ton of weight of the GoPro on, I think this is a good option. There'll be a link down below if you're interested. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.